Hello everyone, great to have you on the channel here. This edition of MediaMarks Weather, we're going to be looking at not just your winter storm outlook for areas in the far north, but we're also going to be looking at severe weather outbreaks and quite a bit from the south all the way up towards the north as well. We could be looking at areas of massive severe weather outbreaks, tornado action. We're going to go over all those details over the next couple weeks. And diving down into the tropics, we could see some more moisture funneling from South America through Central America, as well as some frontal boundaries that may focus some big-time tropical moisture across the north central Caribbean. Let's get into it. All right, so your future radar here. Let's take a look what's going on here. I'll take a look at the wintry aspect here pretty quick here first before we look at the potential for some showers and thunderstorm action. You can see Wisconsin up to northern Minnesota here and Michigan. Look at as we head throughout the day, rain heading through Cleveland, Columbus, Akron, these areas. But watch the snow pulling just northwest of Detroit. Maybe a few wet snowflakes in western New York and north central Pennsylvania as well as we head through 2 a.m. Here it is, some wet snowflakes. There are some winter weather advisories down and through parts of the Pocono region here for sleet, freezing rain, and snowflakes, so watch out. Starting as a period of snow and wet sleet, these areas, especially into the pink zones, but look at, we quickly watch, for the most part, the higher elevations will hold on to that colder air longer, but we do erode it throughout the morning. Here's 11 a.m. on Monday morning. You can see the rain pulling through Boston all the way down to Atlantic City here and all the way down to South Georgia, which I'll cover momentarily here. But you can see that snow just continuing across Michigan. We'll get into those snowfall amounts momentarily. Some snow bursts up here into parts of New Hampshire and Maine. And look at behind it. We get this kick up of some showers here through 7 p.m. on Monday with some snow showers behind it here just northeast of Cleveland, Erie. And look at that snow just pulling through parts of upstate New York, northern part of New England, and another area, this weak system moving through parts of Ohio, Indiana area. Severe weather outlook for your Sunday evening in particular. We're looking at a slight risk as we extend from northeastern Texas, Shreveport area, up to Memphis, and the marginal risk here into the dark green zones. Generalized thunderstorms outside this region. And as we look at Monday here, look at diving along the Gulf Coast here, Tallahassee to New Orleans, Mobile, Alabama. This is where a marginal risk of thunderstorms will lie. All right, so let's take a look at the convective outlook here. That is going to be a thing as we head later on into Sunday evening, especially. Look at these big-time thunderstorms here. Yeah, that's going to switch to the east here across parts of Kentucky, so watch out. We're going to get a flare-up through evening here, and then look at this. We can follow that line just south of Akron through Columbus, all these areas, Lexington down to Clarksville, Memphis area, we're really going to start to see an explosion of showers and thunderstorms here across the mid-Mississippi River Valley. Look at this through 10 p.m. You can see convection all the way up just southwest of Pittsburgh here along the Ohio River, down in through Tennessee, all the way down to Austin, Texas here, just south of Linden here, Shreveport. Yeah, these areas going to bubble up these big-time showers and storms all the way up to western Virginia here, just west of Roanoke. And look at how these drop across the region. 5 a.m. on Monday morning, Atlanta, down through Jackson, and eventually these are going to head towards South Georgia here and South Carolina. They do weaken as they head through 1 p.m. on Monday as finally things start to pull off the coastline here. Look at even some convection up to eastern parts of Long Island here, and maybe another flare up behind it on Monday evening, but nothing too terribly heavy. All right, so we're picking up where our future radar left off. There's our system in the northeast Monday, finally becoming a memory, a thing of the past here. Snow showers just enhance behind it as we head through Tuesday into Wednesday. You can see that slowly dying down the snow belt areas, getting those lake effect and lake enhancements. Another upper low moving through Maine here. That will increase, especially for the higher elevations, maybe a couple inches at times. But for the most part, look at that system moving out. Now, I'll cover this in my Canadian weather outlook several minutes from now. But as we go in time here through the 27th, later on, later part of this week, you can see this return flow around this massive high. That's going to get the tropical moisture flowing north. And this is where we could start to see our next severe weather outbreak take hold here. And that's going to funnel moisture all the way up to Cleveland, all the way down to Dallas, the Mississippi and Ohio River valleys. The snow is going to be confined to the northern part of Minnesota, Michigan, and Wisconsin here, and eventually into the northeast as we head through the 29th. You can see next Saturday, maybe starting as a period of sleet, freezing rain, and wet snowflakes here. But quickly, the warmer air is winning out here, with the exception for northern New England and parts of central New England. But you can see ultimately another low pressure system winding up across the plain. So we're going to see multi-area low pressure events here. And that's going to be on the northern periphery is where we'll see this rain, sleet, freezing rain, rain mix here. So look at this. As we head through the 30th into the 31st, we actually see convection surging into parts of the Ohio Valley, eastern Great Lakes. Watch out. Some of these areas could see some stronger thunderstorms and heavier rain. This looks like a squall line heading through parts of the southeast here, all the way up to the Ohio River Valley. And this pushes another wave of moisture March 31st. Watch out. This low pressure, a new one developing right over northern New Jersey. This could bring down some cold air on the northwest side. No April Fool's joke here. Look at this, hinting at maybe a little band of wet snow, but at this point, we'll watch it, but it doesn't amount to much as the colder air kind of stays way behind this main precipitation shield. Another area of low pressure trying to form off the southeast coast, kind of doing some weird tricks out here by Bermuda. We'll have to watch it. Another massive system winds up across the Great Lakes for April 3rd into the 4th. These systems remain very active with some wet snowflakes on the backside from Cleveland, Buffalo, Albany area, Burlington. Yeah, watch out. Could have some heavy wet snow here forming on the backside. We just get one system right after another as a very stormy weather pattern takes hold, and we have to watch out on the southern part of these systems. Severe weather outbreaks could ensue. So we start off with the European model run here. Look at this. Picking up where our future radar left off. Those storms moving off the Gulf Coast region here, heading down into parts of the southeastern Gulf. Going to be a fading memory. This system pulling up through parts of the northeast. Let me just take a look at this for you. So yeah, this is going to be moving through parts of Ohio, as I showed you on the future radar. Starting off with some wet snowflakes, quickly changing over to rain as that warm front pushes to the northeast. Not too much fanfare with this system as it pushes off to the east. We get a little light system diving down Tuesday night into Wednesday morning across the Ohio Valley. Maybe a few wet snowflakes on the northern fringe of this as it tries to spin up into a coastal, but doesn't have too much success until it gets to Nova Scotia. Now look at these. Look at these lines here. This essentially is the trough that we're going to be dealing with through mid to late week. You do get a clipper type system on Friday, maybe a few wet snowflakes in upstate New York, northern Pennsylvania. Now, I want to draw your attention to this tropical moisture heading around the periphery of this big giant high. Look at this, coming off the Gulf, massive amounts of moisture and thunderstorms, and we're also going to have some strong thunderstorms developing around Illinois and Indiana. That's going to fade a little bit as we head throughout the day Friday. Now, watch this come together as a Colorado low. Northern fringe, we're going to see that heavy wet snow, northern New England, and then over here into South Dakota. Watch this low line up. This is going to wind up the 30th into the 31st. Now, this run actually has it during an unfavorable section just as the sun is rising across the east. So you see this front pushing to the east here. Parts of the south here could have some severe weather, but look at the Ohio Valley. We don't start to get another secondary development until later on in Monday. You can see these strong thunderstorms. This is definitely going to be a severe weather outbreak here, and it might extend up into southern Ontario and Ohio here. This is something we're going to have to keep an eye on here as we get this wave of moisture moving to the north and the east as we head throughout early Monday morning here into the 31st. You can see that heavier rain moving up into parts of the northeast. We may have a squall line as far north as the Finger Lakes in New York, stretching down into parts of the Appalachians, and then eventually the Carolinas up to New York City as we head later on into Monday of next week. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. It is a progressive system, so it moves out fast, but look at this. Wednesday, April 2nd in the morning. Look at this development. This is a massive, looks like a massive severe weather outbreak from the Ohio Valley down to the Mississippi and Plain States here. This looks like a lot of tremendous development of convection, and look at it, starts to pull north of the Mississippi River Valley as we head through early Thursday morning into April 3rd, and we really line up the heavy rain developing through parts of the Ohio Valley here in eastern Great Lakes. Look at this, we could have a squall line in parts of Ohio and western Kentucky here. And look at this. This low really starts to wind up. It's going to be a big snowstorm for parts of Ontario and Quebec here. But look at the convection all the way up to the St. Lawrence Valley. Squall line moving through New York City on April 4th. This could be quite a system, along with some tremendous wind as we see those isobars really tighten up here with this 985 millibar low. And this pulls out to the northeast. Look at here again. European going crazy with the convection here. April 6th. Once again, stronger thunderstorms from Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania, southern Pennsylvania. And then this low winds up with more severe weather all the way up into western New York this time. And looking at our wind speed gusts here on our mesoscale model outlook as we just continue through time, the rest of Sunday into Monday, look at these gusty winds in the 30s and 40-mile-an-hour range, especially up across the Great Lakes and eventually the Northeast as we enter the time period right around, if we get a timestamp on this, early Monday morning. Some of the higher terrain here into upstate New York, Pennsylvania could be approaching 40, maybe some isolated 50-mile-an-hour gusts as far south as Long Island here in Cape Cod. So watch out. Yeah, it's a big storm system with many gusts in the 30s. I think that'll slowly lift out as we head into later Tuesday into Wednesday. And take a look at our wildfire map here. Yeah, we did have some into the northeast. Still, there's a bigger one here in southern New Jersey. There was one up here by Syracuse. Thankfully, a lot of these have been put out. And then you had some rain over the weekend, but they're across parts of the Appalachians, down and through parts of the Deep South. Let me just zoom out here. You can see these fire areas really prominent across the area. Eastern Oklahoma getting hit, parts of Florida where it's been dry, the Appalachians as well. So watch out. Hopefully we can get some more rain here across parts of the east. If we look at the mesoscale models for smoke across central Texas here in particular, and watch as we go out in time through Monday here, you can see that smoke moving to the east here across the Carolinas. Thankfully in the northeast, we've kind of been able to put a lot of these fires out. So that is some great news, but look at the smoke moving up towards the Outer Banks, western Texas here as we head later Monday into Tuesday. You can see that smoke scouring out much of the south. So yeah, you're going to see that haze up in the sky, and at times these darker areas getting towards the ground. But yeah, it's mainly across northern Mexico as well. We've had a lot of dry weather as of late. Liquid equivalent precipitation totals here on our European run. You can see as we go through this week, it's quiet for the most part across much of the east. We have these light systems moving through, maybe parts of southeastern New England being clipped here as we try to get a little coastal spin up, but not much here, maybe up towards 3/4 to 1 inch on average here. Now look at here, Texas, all the way through Louisiana as we head through next weekend. This is that March 30th and 31st system. And then as we stretch into April 3rd and 4th, look at the moisture trends here. This is quite interesting. Not only parts of Texas and parts of the Deep South, but look at through the upper Mississippi River Valley to the Ohio River Valley, eastern Great Lakes. We could be looking at totals anywhere from about 2.5 to 5, maybe 6 inches in some of these darker orangish colors. And total liquid equivalent precipitation here on our GFS, a similar situation developing as we head all the way through the end of the month into the beginning of April. You can see those heavier showers, not quite as heavy as they were on the European model, but you see it back across the east here. We are looking at those red zones closer to that 2 to 3 inch plus range. Texas getting the bullseye here. Look at Florida though. Unusually dry continues here. So let's take a look at snowfall amounts here. It's mainly going to be confined earlier to mid part of the week up across the Midwest and parts of New England. Look at that. Yeah. So getting into Monday and night in particular, later Monday into Tuesday, we could be seeing the higher terrain of northern New England getting clipped with 4 to 8 inches on average here in those higher elevations. So watch out. But as we go through the end of the month into the beginning of April, we're not really looking at much across the east and even out west here, mainly confined to the highest Rocky Mountains. But they're across the U.S.-Canadian border back east here into northern New England, to New Brunswick. These are the areas that are going to see that chance pile up, 6 to 12, maybe 18 inches in some of these higher terrain. And if we take a look at the European run, a very similar picture here across the upper Midwest. You can see into parts of the Northeast as well. It's mainly the northern plains, upper Midwest that gets clipped on the European, with northern New York and northern New England here, a little bit further to the north than the GFS, and more active out west here at the Rocky Mountain effect. But look at this, back across the upper Midwest here, some of these totals getting upwards of 1 to 2 feet. So watch out. There could be some big snowstorm action on the northern part. Also northern Michigan, 4 to 8 inches on average, locally higher. Adirondacks, White Green Mountains up here into Maine. Yeah, some of these areas, you're looking at 2 to 4 inches, locally higher 4 to 8 in some of these locations. All right, so let's take a look at the upper air pattern here on our European model run. You can see as we head throughout this week, a ridge holds tough across the East Coast. And then midweek, that's when we get that troughiness across the lakes in the Northeast. It's going to entrench itself through Wednesday into Thursday. And watch as we head into next weekend. That ridge, that firecracker ridge building, that massive warming trend, how long does that last? Well, look at this, Tuesday, April 1st. We're going to watch these systems from the plains in Colorado move up like this. It's going to surge that moisture and high heat content up here to the north and to the east. And you see that pretty much, with the exception for right around the 5th, we do have a storm system move through parts of the Northeast. But you can see that firecracker ridge holding tough into the second week of April. As we take a look at the NAO index, we are going very positive here. Look at this, shooting above 1 through the latter part of the month, heading towards April, and then steadily declining, but staying pretty positive here. As we take a look at the MJO index, this is telling quite a story as well. So you see we're right up here among phase 6 region into 7, and we're just going to kind of meander throughout this region. If we do head towards 8 and 1, towards middle part of April, that could mean more active weather conditions across eastern North America, but just as many models now are pulling us back towards 6 and maybe parts of 7, even some near 5. Looking at the polar vortex outlook here, thanks to Tropical Tidbits for this upper analysis here of the northern hemisphere. You can see what's going on here. There it is, centered right over northern Europe. We do get a little bit of a flare up here into the North Atlantic with these bluish colors. This is the 27th of March, 28th, 29th, and you see how it's spilling down through parts of North America. We're going to get clipped with this a little bit. And if we go just a tad further back here on our runs, you can see we can go further out into April here. And that cell consolidates pretty much across parts of the North Atlantic here. So essentially what we're going to be seeing is that move towards North America. But as you see towards April 6th and 7th, we do have some cooler colors here once again as a piece breaks off. So there could be cooler times ahead, stormier times ahead across the eastern part of North America. But at this point, it's not looking like blockbuster cold and snow. And before we dive into your tropical weather update for the Western Atlantic Caribbean, before we continue, if you made it this far in the video and you like it, smash that like button, everyone. It really does help. Question or comment down below. I love to read your questions or comments. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe bell notification button so you're alerted with all my future weather video updates. And I should have my 2025 hurricane outlook for the Atlantic Basin forecast out shortly. Let's continue. And hello to the tropical areas of the Caribbean, the Western Atlantic, and Central America. We're going to take a look at your forecast here. Low pressure on Monday. Look at this. Exiting Colombia. Watch out because we're going to see a surge of tropical moisture. Also, the other focal point is right across this area, stretching from Honduras, Belize, all the way over to Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Dominican Republic, Haiti, southeastern Bahamas in particular, the Turks, Caicos on northward, and clipping Puerto Rico and the Lesser Antilles at times too. So watch this as we go through the 24th into the 25th. We can see some shower action here. Trinidad, Tobago, Grenada here up to Dominica. These areas, we're going to watch for these showers continuing to push out of the east from these easterly trade winds. And watch this big ball of moisture around Panama, Costa Rica area, Nicaragua. And then we have another strange area of low pressure on the tail end of this frontal boundary. So we got to watch these. It's kind of early for development, even subtropical development, but stranger things have happened with these hurricane seasons as of late, and we always have to be prepared for this. Now, as we head through March 27th, you can see some heavier showers moving over Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and Jamaica looks pretty clear through this forecast period, but we do start to get an increase of tropical moisture as this frontal boundary sinks to the south here. You see up across Texas, some moisture heading north, but look at here, showers in the northwestern Caribbean increasing across Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, northern Honduras, especially Belize here. It looks like it's clearing Cancun by this point as well, but the Bahamas really socked in here as well. Dominican Republic, we're continuing with those showers continuing as we zoom in here just a little bit. You see that shower action continuing through Jamaica, Dominican Republic through the 29th, and that's only going to increase. Let me just zoom out a bit. You can see that stalled frontal boundary south of Florida here through the Bahamas. It's going to continue to focus that moisture across Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the Lesser Antilles, and then through Central America here, minus Cancun. You'll have a nice stretch of weather here come the end of the month, beginning of April. But look at this little feature here across the Bahamas. We're going to have to watch this. The tail end of these fronts can spin up subtropical systems. It's not unheard of this time of year. And look at that. April 1st. Yeah, that could be pushing moisture funneling from the south here into the northern part of the system, right across Dominican Republic. I am concerned about some heavier rains here as we head the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of April, stretching through Puerto Rico. A few showers clearing Jamaica by this point. Look at this. The northwestern Caribbean going really clear on us. The north coast of South America kind of ramping up with shower and thunder shower activity, dying down a little bit, except for the higher terrain of Honduras here, where you get some showers. But look at this, as we have stretched through time, by April 4th, the showers are coming back across Dominican Republic, Haiti, Puerto Rico, and eventually a few scattered showers over towards Jamaica as we look at that last frame there. And thanks to Tropical Tidbits for our European model analysis here of the Caribbean, the Gulf, the Western Atlantic, and Central America. So as we head through this new week, you can see where the showers are going to be focused from Honduras, Belize, Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and Haiti here. These are the areas we're going to be watching over the next couple days. These showers and thunderstorms flaring up here. Look at this across the southeastern Gulf. This is a big area complex of shower and thunderstorm action. That's going to be heading into the northwestern Caribbean as we head on into early Tuesday morning. That's going to flare up here around the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos in particular, another front clearing South Florida. And I want to draw your attention here not only to this shower action across the northern Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica, and over to Honduras, but look at this down in through Colombia, Panama, and Costa Rica. This is an area of low pressure. It's going to surge tropical moisture slowly towards Central America. It's going to meet up with this frontal boundary across parts of the Yucatan from Cancun all the way over to the central Bahamas. Now watch this as it sinks southward here. Wednesday morning, we see that frontal boundary moving right through the Cayman Islands and northwest of Jamaica, through the northern part of Belize, and all the way through the Yucatan here. We're going to watch these shower and thunderstorm flare up. Watch this little feature here across the Bahamas. This does start to go kind of strange on us again, almost kind of resembling maybe some sort of subtropical low. It doesn't fully close off and go subtropical, but we'll watch it here. Something interesting to watch as we head through early Thursday. You see this shower and thunderstorm action is just continuing across this area that I mentioned here, maybe just a tad bit to the north and to the west. And look at down and through Central America. We're watching that moisture surge just heading up through parts of Central America. Look at the focus here, the Turks and Caicos here of the southeastern Bahamas. Yeah, these frontal boundaries really lock up here, and they kind of stall and wash out as we have this massive high pressure off the southeast coast. You can see this boundary. It just rounds about here from Texas all the way down through the southern Bahamas. And that's going to be the focal point from Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Dominican Republic. These areas, watch out through late week here. You see these showers kicking up. This is abnormally high amount of moisture content for this time of year, and we're slightly more than 2 months out from hurricane season. This is crazy to even think about. We're dealing with this kind of moisture here, but look at this. We're squeezing out that moisture as we head through March 30th here, continuing into the 31st. You can see this tremendous amount of shower activity across the northern and central Caribbean here. This is only going to continue through Honduras, Belize, all the way eastward to Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, and the northern Lesser Antilles. And as we head through April 2nd here into the 3rd, you kind of get what's going on here. These easterly trade winds, there's a lot of moisture to be wrung out here. And these are only going to continue through the first week of April. You can see Dominican Republic here and Jamaica really getting some shower action. Puerto Rico, look at this. We see an increase of shower action on these stronger easterly trade winds here. So watch out it looks like rainier times are ahead as we near the end of March into April 6th here. Look at all the way through April 7th. You get the idea here. Especially the Lesser Antilles getting in on the act here. Trinidad and Tobago looks a little bit drier. Well, I'll show you that on the rainfall map totals, but you're still going to get some shower action here. And then look at the North Central Caribbean and the Western Caribbean, really going to be the bullseye for some of these shower and thunder shower activity. And looking at our sea surface temperature analysis, just, about over 2 months from hurricane season. Crazy to think about this, but look at this. Yeah, the Gulf has had a little bit of a cool spell lately with a lot of storminess and upwelling, but look at parts of the Caribbean, Western Atlantic. We're still staying about 1.5 to 2.5 above average degrees here. But yeah, you do see those temperatures have come down from some of those 3.5 range, but still looking very warm sea surface temperatures just literally over 2 months from hurricane season. Tropical rain outlook here for the Western Caribbean this week. Look at it. It looks mostly quiet until mid to late week. We do start to moisten things up through next weekend. You can see all the way through Honduras, Belize, all the way to Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, southeastern Bahamas here. Most areas in these purple zones getting up towards 40 to 60 millimeters, 80 millimeter locally higher. Watch out as we head throughout the week. And watch this as we near the end of March, beginning of April. We're going to surge that moisture here. Look at this. Through Belize, Honduras, all the way through Dominican Republic, Jamaica in particular. Look at some of these amounts getting up towards 80 to 100 millimeters. A lot of areas in Dominican Republic and Haiti eclipsing that 120, 150 millimeter mark here. And then even towards Puerto Rico, we're getting up towards about 1.5 to 2 inches on average. And looking at the Eastern Caribbean here, of similar story. As we head through this week, you can see the Lesser Antilles moistening up here. Some of these areas getting up towards 40, 60, 70 millimeters. But the big moisture is really going to line up across the North Central Caribbean here with these frontal boundaries to the north and this easterly fetch of moisture to the south. You can see I did mention that in the previous slide. Dominican Republic seems to be, the bullseye as we head through the end of March, especially that first week of April. Some of these areas getting up towards 150, 160 millimeters on average. But look at this. We average it out looking at 80 to 120 millimeters on average. And looking at the Lesser Antilles over here, yes, some of them could be approaching 100 millimeters, especially right in the central Lesser Antilles here. Trinidad and Tobago, you're going to be a lot lower here, anywhere from, say, 10 to maybe 15 millimeters, 20 millimeters on average here. And looking at our Canadian weather outlook here, look what's going on. We have massive blockbuster Pacific storms coming into western British Columbia here. That's going to continue with the Mountain Snow Valley rain. We got a little bit of a break here into parts of the east with the exception for central and southern Ontario, where we have that ongoing system here as we head into Monday. Look at that, across parts of southern Ontario. Rain snow line drawing to the north, just north of Toronto, and eventually getting out in here on Ottawa and Montreal, changing over to rain. But look at New Brunswick, staying all snow, heavy wet snow, changing over to rain here in Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island. That pushes off towards Newfoundland here. Now watch this. We get a little system moving through Ontario, kicks up some snow shower action, some wind. British Columbia continuing with these massive storm systems. Look at these. And then as we stretch through the central prairies here through the 28th, look at this. Manitoba, Saskatchewan area, Winnipeg. These areas, southern Ontario eventually the 29th into the 30th. Look at this system. Could promote some very heavy snow across parts of Ottawa. Mixed precipitation around Toronto. London, you'll change over to rain, it looks like. And that dives south, missing most of Quebec and New Brunswick and Nova Scotia here. Another system pushing through. Rain all the way up through Toronto and Kingston. Ottawa, rain, snow mix. Maybe sleet and freezing rain at times. Heavy snow moves on towards northern New Brunswick. Southern New Brunswick gets in on the rain, as well as Nova Scotia. Now look at one system after another dropping from the Pacific region. These pieces of energy, not just from the United States, but also from the Northwest here, is going to continue to dive south. And as you can see through April 2nd here, snow showers across parts of southern Ontario. The colder air starts to filter in around Ottawa, all the way up to Quebec City here. And eventually, The last frame shows us New Brunswick changing over to mixed precipitation to rain, and another powerful clipper moving through Saskatchewan, actually bringing the rain-snow line up into the central prairies here. All right, so looking at snowfall mounts here across Canada, as we head through the end of the month into the beginning of April, look, you can see the periphery of the snow. You can see where the storm track's going to lie. That energy from west to east across the central prairies here, the southern prairies, and then into southern parts of Ontario, southeastern Quebec, over to New Brunswick. These are the areas up into the Canadian Maritimes where we're going to see those darker purples, 25 to 40 centimeters on average. Of course, as we zoom in here, you can see right across parts of southern Ontario towards Ottawa into southern Quebec. And look at New Brunswick here as well. Some areas getting into the 30 centimeter range, 40 centimeter cannot be ruled out, isolated areas, so watch out. Temperature-wise here, starting off with Monday, March 24th, you can see some 50s and 60s in parts of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. But watch this, these 40s and upper 30s are going to pivot towards the east into Tuesday. We get a little bit of a moderating trend, but this shot of cooler air and the Great Lakes, mostly 40s and even some upper 30s here. Look at Texas into the 90s down here. As we head into Wednesday, that heat wave is going to build out west here, and that's going to slowly push east. You can see that cooler shot of air, 40s throughout most of the interior Northeast into Thursday. Look at this heat wave building, though. 80s into Kansas here. This is going to be pushing to the east. Look, we're already into the 50s into parts of the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and parts of the Northeast. So we're on a big warming trend here. 70s into South Dakota by Friday in southern Ohio, into parts of Virginia and the Carolinas. Now watch this into Saturday. Look at this. We're all the way up to 70 degrees in Pittsburgh, 66 in Cleveland, and northeastward towards Erie. And look at this. Yeah. Northern New England holding on to those 40s, but the heat is building. Extended forecast for hometown viewers, Binghamton, to Scranton, Upper Susquehanna, River Valley, New York, and Pennsylvania. So essentially, as we get into Monday through Friday here, you can see we're going to see, Monday we start off with a few morning showers, maybe a few wet snowflakes mixing, but it quickly warms up to the upper 50s near 60. Wind gusts as high as 25, 30 miles an hour. What's new? Every day is blasting wind. Into Tuesday, we get to, some scattered morning snow showers and then maybe another chance of rain and snow showers throughout the day, making up towards the mid 40s with that wind. And of course, as we head on into Wednesday, it's going to cool down a bit more, down towards 40 to 45, a chance of snow showers, more clouds than sun. Into Thursday, sunny skies. We're making up towards the 50s, and look at that. By Friday, mid-50s, mostly sunny skies, setting us up for a warmer weekend. And before we continue with more weather coverage, check out these amazing, awesome maps from my affiliate here. I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MediaMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code. As always, thank you for joining me for this edition of MediaMark's Weather. Also, don't forget to join me on Facebook at MediaMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Twitter at Weather Eastern. Don't forget, it's MediaMark.com. And don't forget, if you want to send me a coffee, there is a link, Super Thanks. You can smash that Super Thanks button or my PayPal link in the description down below. You can buy me a cup of coffee. Thanks, everyone. Share that video. Subscribe if you haven't. Smash that like button.